Hello, and welcome to Round Glass. I'm Tatum Barnes, and I'm so glad you've joined me for this series on finding a sense of belonging. It's for youth and teen meditators, and honestly, anyone who used to be a youth or a teen who meditates. So no matter who you are, whether you've tuned into the last practice or this is your first time seeing me on your screen, hello and welcome, and no worries, we're going to be going breath by breath, step by step. Today we're going to be thinking about our sometimes unkind self-talk and ways to antidote some of the poisonous things we may be thinking and whispering to ourselves. But before we dig into the topic of self-talk, I'd like you to do me a favor. I'd love to hear from you. So if you feel so moved, in the chat, I ask you to pinpoint your most common self-injury. What unkind thought do you think most often to yourself? And I know that may be a little bit of a sour note to start our meditation off, but I promise we'll be pivoting on that point later in our meditation. It will serve a purpose. So if I had to think, I'm never going to ask you a question that I'm not going to answer myself. That'd be unfair. So if my most unkind thought, I think it's that I would be a screw up. I'm a screw up. I used to think about it all the time, especially in high school or college when perhaps my mistakes were more ample, more common. I had a lot of opportunities to call myself a screw up then. And now, I'm sure that you'll find a few mistakes in this broadcast as well. But the unfortunate truth about our self-talk is that if we repeat something, we're going to begin to believe it. If we repeat something, it's going to become cemented into our rituals, our routines, our practices, and our beliefs. So if you wake up every morning and meditate, which would be great, well, you're going to be a meditator, and it's going to be easier and easier to wake up and do just that. If you insult yourself every time you make a mistake, if you tell yourself that you're a screw up, you're going to start to believe it. And unfortunately, that's what's happened to me, or that's what happened to me. In college, after a career of making mistakes and being a screw up in high school, I already identified as a screw up. That was something that was part of my personhood. Can you believe it? So it got to a point where I wouldn't want to try my best, because why would I try my best if I'm a screw up? It doesn't make any sense. I set the bar clinically low, and oftentimes still found ways to get under it just because I didn't believe in my capacity, didn't believe in my ability to excel. And if I'm going to self-sabotage the project anyway, let me just save the effort and do it at the start. It's only through getting fed up with that I was able to start to author a different story. Even when our bodies and minds are habituated to thinking these unkind things to ourselves, we can still pick up the pen, pick up our thoughts, and write a new story. And it won't feel true or real for a little bit, but the more that we repeat it, well, eventually we're going to know it to be true. Mistakes are how we learn, and through a little bit of kindness and generosity of spirit, I know that we can all take those mistakes and love ourselves through them. So I would love to check in with the chat to see if we have any unfortunate thoughts that we share. I tell myself I don't look good. I've been there. I tell myself that I won't succeed. I won't succeed. I see that again. So absolutely, I think those are two big pivots that we'll explore in just a moment. I'm a failure, and I'm not beautiful. These are two things that I hear and see all the time when working with youth and with meditators. And I want you just to keep in mind, whatever resonates for you as most common, just plant that in the back of your mind. We're going to use that in just a moment. As we settle in, we're going to take some deep breaths, allow the day to melt away. We're going to ground for a moment and use our imagination and visualization to clear any sort of stuck energy in our bodies. And we're going to bring our awareness to our throats. And if you study chakras, you know that perhaps this is a place where your self-expression and self-esteem live. And even if you don't speak the language of chakras, this is where we think about who we really are and how we speak from that truth. We'll go here and use a relaxing visualization to help us relax into our self-worth, which is inherent and abundant. And we'll start to write the right story of us being beautiful, successful, and amazing, because that's what's true, y'all. So let's get cracking. Without any further ado, let's settle into our meditation posture, letting our bodies stretch and move in the ways that it wants to. Feel free to make some weird noises or to make funny faces or massage your jaw. No one can see you, they can just see me, so go ahead and be weird. When you're ready, I invite you to take your meditation posture with your vertebrae starting to stack, closing your eyes when you're ready, or taking a soft gaze somewhere out in the floor in front of you. And you begin to breathe normally through your nose. Normal pace, normal depth. Beginning to align your awareness with your breath, you watch it move in and out of your nose, or perhaps watching the rise and fall of your chest. You observe the quality of your breath as it comes to you here and now. Is it thin? Is it strong? And no matter how you find it, see if you can invite a little bit more depth, sending the oxygen further into the belly. Beautiful. As you breathe deeply, let's give our minds a chance to digest. So, I invite you to imagine and visualize everything that you've already done today. Not dwelling too long on either moment or judging yourself for any mistakes that move through your awareness. Simply flipping through the day like pages in a storybook. You let these moments float to the back of the head. Not judging the mistakes or the moments where you could have done better, simply letting them move to the back of the skull. And as we commit to this present moment, at your own pace, I invite you to meet us where your body makes contact with the ground beneath you, shifting your awareness to ankles and sit bones, exploring the subtle sensation of the ground pushing up at you. As the mind wanders, as the body itches, you gently bring your focus back to your breath and to where you make contact with the ground. Here I invite you to utilize your imagination once more, to picture a vibrant red or violet color moving from the earth and into your toes. Seeing whatever color comes to you first in your mind's eye, you watch as it paints your toes, moves through the arches of your feet, and breathe this color, this energy into your ankles. We pause here and we collect any stress or tension that may be living in our ankles. We call it forth with our mind, thinking to ourselves, I'm collecting the tension in my ankles. And with our awareness, we can move around the joints, scraping the sides. And you gather this tension in your awareness. Gathering and regathering. Search it out. There it is. And on your next exhale, you let it all drop. Watching and feeling that tension rush out of the ankles and into the earth below, where it is stewarded. A deep breath. And let's visualize that energy from below, that color rising through your open ankles, through your shins and your calves. And breathe it into your knees and beneath your kneecaps, seeing and feeling that color spread. And once more, you collect the tension here in this part of your body. You call forth the tension, the stress. You search it out and collect it. And you bring to mind any sadness or heaviness or grief that may be lodged in the body from today or who knows when. You grab it out. Collecting and recollecting. And with a big exhale, you let that drop as well. Watching and feeling that energy rush out of the legs, you hold on to nothing, you let it all drop. Well done. Finally, you watch that energy rise through your open and clear kneecaps, breathing it through the thighs, the muscles that move us, and invite it into your hips and your pelvis. For the last time, we breathe into this part of the body. We collect the tension, the stress, the static in our pelvis. And we call to mind any anger or frustration, annoyance that we may be carrying. You seek it out and hold it, letting it grow. Holding more. And as it reaches its peak, you let it all drop. Letting everything rush out of the legs, you hold on to nothing, you let it all go. The physical tension, the emotion, the stress, and a deep breath. Excellent. Watch and imagine that color rise through your soft belly, under the rib cage. Breathe it into your heart center, a few inches above the sternum, a few centimeters above the sternum. A few breaths here in your heart center, not the physical heart, but this heart center, as we make it soft. Focusing and refocusing, investigating the subtle quality of your body and mind when it is not so stressed. A moment longer, move deeper within yourself. Beautiful. From the heart center, gently let your awareness rise into your throat. Breathing deeply into the throat. Now the throat can be a vulnerable place, and so to help it relax, to help it open, I invite you to imagine yourself floating on a beautiful body of water, one that stretches on and on in all directions, no land in sight. You picture your body floating on this endless water, your head supported, your heart supported, your hips held, your ankles buoyant. Invest in your imagination, make it real. And give your body permission to give its weight to the water beneath it. Breathing and floating in the throat. If the body or mind feels tense, we can remind ourselves that we are safe here and now. The water is safe. This now moment is safe. Relaxing even further. The tongue can come to the roof of the mouth, to the soft palate if it is comfortable, or resting gently behind your top teeth. And it is here now that I request that you recall that unkind thing that you most often think to yourself. Bring it to mind for just a moment and notice how it resonates in your body, mind, spirit complex. How it thuds, how perhaps the throat tenses just a bit. When I hear that myself, I feel sad. And so our work here and now is to antidote this one sentence, this statement. If you could reverse it, antidote it, what would be that mantra? What would be that statement? I am beautiful. I am successful. I am confident. I am radiant. You find that I am statement that resonates most with you. Something I have shared or something all your own. And when you have that mantra, you speak it to yourself, you think it to yourself as you float in your throat. Think it to yourself and relax in the space between thoughts. As your mind wanders or your body begins to twitch, you gently bring your awareness back to your breath and say the mantra once more. And as you think it, picture the thought rippling off of your body in this water. Let every positive affirmation make its impact, seen and felt. And move deeply. A few moments more. Focusing and refocusing. Well done. Slowly, with respect to the positive energy that you've just cultivated, bring your awareness to where your body makes contact with the ground once more. Feeling your physical body in space, in your room. Bringing yourself into fingertips and toes, you give them a little wiggle, letting them shake the stillness from their bones. Let the body move as it wants to. And when you're ready, you open your eyes and welcome back. You never left. We always take stock after these meditations, looking at the before and after picture. So thinking about how you felt before this meditation and now, do you feel more embodied, that the breath is deeper, more present, more here, more centered? I feel calm. I hope you do too. And with this meditation, like all meditations, I would love to hear from you. So in the chat, if you feel so moved, let me know any questions you may have about this meditation or meditation in general, or comments, concerns, anything that was beautiful or challenging or weird, anything at all. I have a question already. Tatum, how did you overcome your own unkind thoughts when you were younger? Well, I would be lying if I said I've completely overcome it. Today, I said some unkind things to myself when I misplaced my keys temporarily. I think it's a sense of practicality that helped me move towards kindness. Simply insulting myself wasn't useful. It just made me feel bad and, shot my work ethic. What's more useful is to recognize that we learn from our mistakes. This is part of life. This is part of the design of life for all creatures. You're going to try something. If it works, great, you're rewarded. If it doesn't, it's a mistake and things don't feel right. That doesn't mean that you suck or that you're terrible. It just means that you have something to tweak. You have something to work on. Fantastic. So when I started to think about what was actually going to be useful, I started being kinder to myself. Also, being unkind to myself felt bad, so I thought it was a mistake. Being kind felt better, and I liked feeling better. So that certainly moved me in the right direction. What I really want to underscore is that the kinder we are to ourselves, the more belonging we'll feel, because we won't be trapped in our heads. We won't be trapped in our thoughts, in our minds, in our stories about our shortcomings. You're going to feel a lot more at home and at peace when you're cultivating this positive thought about yourself. But Tatum, you surely say to yourself, when I think these things, it doesn't ring true. And you might be looking at all the evidence that point to the contrary, that you are not radiant, that you're not beautiful, that you're not a successful person. Well, it is your job then to find something that is true. I know when I didn't feel good about my looks and my mother called me a handsome young boy, I was like, okay, you're supposed to say that. Like, that doesn't mean anything. We have to find something that rings true, something that isn't just able to be thrown away because, of course, people are going to say I'm beautiful. But maybe you're proud. Maybe you're dignified. Find the language that works for you. You're going to feel a sense of resonance in your body. It'll click. It'll ding. It'll light up your heart. There'll be some somatic moment where you recognize, oh, this is good. It doesn't ring untrue. It doesn't feel saccharine or too sugary. It's just right. When you have that, keep it in your back pocket. When you make the mistake or you feel down on yourself, you whip it out. And even if it's tough medicine, tell yourself. Tell yourself every day. And you build up the habit, you start to write the story, and before you know it, you have a new story and you're telling yourself something different. It's hard for me to pinpoint when I was able to overcome it because it's a constant process, and I'm still working on it. I have a comment from Rebecca. I love this. Release some tears, feeling peaceful and at home in myself. Beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing, Rebecca. I want you all to belong everywhere you go. But the world is crazy. Society is all messed up in a whole lot of ways. Really, what I want you to feel is that you belong to yourself, that you're at home in yourself. So wherever you go in this mixed up world, that you'll feel like you belong. And that's the truth. In our last minute, I want to give you all a little bit of homework because I'm a teacher, I'm a youth worker. It would be disingenuous if I didn't. So just to underscore that point, find your little mantra. Find what works for you. If I'm beautiful doesn't ring true, find what works. And your little bit of wisdom message, a little gem to keep you going until I see you all next, which I have never prepared, so I have to see what it is. What I feel is don't despair. Let me see if there's anything else I can say to that. Besides the fact, I think maybe it doesn't feel great, but we've all been there. I don't think anyone is born super confident, and if someone acts like that, it's a good front. Trust me, I've been there too. But this is something that we're all working on together. So just like you want to be kind to your best friends, just like you want to be kind to the children around you, be kind to yourself. If you wouldn't say it to a baby, don't think it to yourself. There you go. There it is. If you wouldn't say it to a baby, don't say it to yourself. And with that, that's all the time we have. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Tatum Barnes, pardon me. And I hope that you are feeling that sense of belonging to yourself. Follow me on my profile to see when I'm going live next. Check out when my course is dropping soon. And until next time, stay blessed and stay peaceful. Peace.